Big up. Big up. Miss Tiff, pseudo killer official. Mongol Slade, pseudo killer army. Big up to Brother Garfield, man. Appreciate this unwavering support, bro. Just had a powerful show over there, man. Appreciate everybody, man, that's coming through. Let the people get up in here. The crowd going, man, so we can get this thing right, man. So we can get it right, man. A lot of misinformation. We should always take a scientific stance when understanding the natural world. There's politics involved, right? We should also take that in account. Pad Moose, what's up with you? Pad Moose, is that Pad Moose? Am I saying that right? All right. Man, I wish y'all stop. Who was texting me, man? Messing up my groove. Hard. Hard. Let's keep it going, man. Jody Breeze. Jody Breeze. Definitely in the building, man. Shout out to Guarantee, man. Sent that first cash app, man. Go ahead. Appreciate you, bro. Starting it off right, man. Somebody say Garfield don't got a rich. Thought you had a wrench, Garfield. How'd you lose your wrench privileges, Garfield? I know I lost my wrench privileges. Probably something I did over there or something you did. I think you might have gave it back though. Me and Garfield don't see the wrench. We don't trip off of wrenches, yo. They come and go, yo. The wrench ain't too big, yo. All right, you're from West Africa, living in Texas. I see you. All right, Pat Mose. All right. Yeah, Garfield definitely can have a wrench. Garfield, that's my man right there, man. So we about to get this thing started. Let's get some more people in the building, man. We're gonna get right to it, man. I think it's a very, very important conversation to have. The foundations of movements in America have always been based off of struggles and people response to those struggles. In these times, organizations are definitely based off of struggles still occurring, but it's not the same struggle. In comes information. Information is also part of when you put together an idea, you have to have set ideas around it. I'm not opposed to having propaganda. Propaganda is important to a people, but there's negative propaganda, positive propaganda, and I'm gonna add to it pseudo propaganda. So I am against people using misinformation to big up African Americans. Hell, I'm against any ethnic group using misinformation to big up themselves. Totally against it. I think it's wild and I think it's out of order. I think they should not have that levy. That leverage should not be there. I don't feel like individual ethnic groups should hijack other people's cultures. I think it's the splitting image of what colonialism did. Simple as that. And it's wild. And I don't think people who are claiming to fight for the rights of African Americans or Black Americans, I use the word black for political reasons. In an anthropological study, it has no real value. Skin color is arbitrary. Skin color is, in biology, is what protects you from the harmful UVA rays. We should not weaponize that. We should not do the exact same thing that the Portuguese did under the ban of Christianity did to us. They took away our names by naming us black, negro. They erased our culture by saying negros and put us all in the box. Later on, as we fought against that, we made everybody negros, or we made everybody black. Herein lies the confusion. So if you start an organization in 2020, 2025, these conversations have already been had. John Henry Clark already put it down where he was supposed to do it. maybe we should start off with some John Henry Clark before we get started, huh? Right? Because he told us what it was. We act like the man didn't say it. Craziest thing ever, bro. It's crazy. So we're gonna get that straight, man. Let's get some more people in here. All right. And I think it's just important. Oh man, wow. Computer moving real slow over here. All right. Let the people come in the building a little bit, man. Big up to everybody that's in the room, though, man. I see everybody coming in, man. Room starting to fill up, man. I appreciate it. Blaze, I see you. I see you, King. King Kalonji. Did I say that right? Keon in the building. See you, Rem. Shooter Kill Official Cedric's in the building. Professor X, good to see you back. Ain't seen you in a while. All right. Man, one of my favorite. The Dosha. Cleveland native. We play y'all next week. You know that. Yeah, we're gonna have this great conversation. You based off your level of understanding what the hell I'm saying out my mouth. It's my job to make you, not to make you, but at least explain it in a way where you know, understand what in the world I'm saying. Based off of that, you're gonna either think I'm hating or I'm doing what I always do, which is clarify information. Don't matter what side you fall on, right? I'm gonna always look at the journey. The journey that we have, I'm gonna always look at it through the eyes of anthropology, bro, because it's important to get that straight. If we just sit around and let anybody say anything about that at any time, it's crazy. Then we become prisoners of the moment. When I say prisoners of the moment, meaning that a person says something that was super slick at the time, we say, yeah, that sounds good, and we join up with it. And then we start to promote wild, crazy ideas. There's a standard that has been set by all peoples. How do we know? Any nation that got the funding or got the intelligence and intellect, they have science. They have a science department in their government. From Africa to Australia, indigenous people who have went to school and have gained the knowledge, they will use that. All right, let me see if I can get here. Hold on. Right. I think I want to go ahead. Let me pause this. Hold on. All right. I want to let the great John Henry Clark do this. But let me do this, man, because now see we got a nice little audience in the room, man. So let me go ahead and, man, hit that cash app, man. Like and subscribe to all the channels, man. How much time we got? We got an hour and 10 minutes, man. We're going to be on fire quick around here, bro. I'm going to run through the information, right? I don't want to give out too much information, just enough, right? Let the people speak to it. Then we'll move to our next show, all right? That's how we're going to do it. We're going to stay on this topic for a minute. It's important. I hear a lot of people talking. I hear them.
Body banger from the block, seen it all raw tough. Streets of Baltimore where survival's always rough. Joined the Marines fighting for a life he could save. But back in the hood, he felt like a runaway slave. Started an army, not of guns but of wisdom. I'm a rock squad, truth the anthem, we ain't just a God killer. Bobby Banger on his path for the truth. Empower the people, give them wisdom as the proof. Black power rising, knowledge shines like a light. He's fighting for the future, ready to ignite. Selling drugs on the corner just to put food on plates, but deep in his heart, he knew he had greater fates. From the traps to the lab, he fights ignorance raw, teaching evolution while shaking up the law. The real black atheist is changing the game, waking up minds, never the same. God killer Bobby Banger on his path for the truth, empower the
Black African power. I said Black African power. What's good? was happening. A well-organized lie. A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's God killing the house. And I come to do what I got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm standing tall. I'm standing strong. Hey, man, y'all know what it is, man. Bobby banging this bitch. What's good, family? Yep, we on top of it. Let's go right into the clip. Let's see what I consider to be one of the great teachers of African American culture, John Henry Clark. It's hard to put smoke on his name. Let's hear it.
Of who is black and white, according to society's definition. We're black.
Oh, no, not according to Rogers' definition now. Understand, and this is the irony of it all, and this is the trap. Black people have never written any definitions of race, any definitions of what a people mean, has been. I mean, they have never said that these people with these kind of traits belong here. Because modern racism had its development in the pseudo-scientific development of intellectual Europe after the 15th century. And they began to say that certain kind of people belong to certain kind of race, and they created the concept of race and racism itself. Now, according to the laws that's still on the statute book of the United States and some other parts of the world, one drop of us makes you a whole. Now, this ridiculous law and stipulation and measurement has given black people a lot of white people according to that law. Now, it has given us Beethoven, who was called a dark Moor. Now, he was probably one of the many olive-complected Europeans that you see in the millions throughout Europe. But in the States, in the United States, they say that if you have one drop of blood of a black person, you're a whole black person. Now, by this stupid law, we have a whole lot of white people. There's a whole lot of people that think they're white that belong to us. We might claim all of South America because the Spaniards were mulattoes when they got there, having been mixed with the Moors for nearly 800 years. And they were even before the Moorish conquest. Mediterranean Europe was highly mixed with Africa. Nobody thought anything of it because they were a mixture of power and influence and trade, and they got along fairly well together for hundreds of years before they turned on each other.
This is 1973. We're a couple minutes away from 2025. Visionary. He's there. I ain't doing no more than what he did. Imagine him sitting in this seat, and I ain't saying I'm on that man's level. What I'm saying is, I got the message. And I'm standing on his shoulders when I bring y'all this message. When y'all hear me talk and speak, I'm standing on the shoulders. Standing on the shoulders, not because he got everything right. I'm standing on his shoulders because he had an understanding of what pseudoscientific was. Clear. 1973. Right there. He in the sweet spot. Stupid rule, dumb rule. Said all that. It's pseudoscientific. Europeans came up with that idea. Separating people based off of color. All that. So now we end up doing the same thing. Not on my watch, bro. And, I know my communicating skills can be very brash. I'm definitely working on that. People around me tell me I need to communicate the ideas better. I can probably agree to that. I'm a product of my environment, and I'm a product of intelligent thinkers, okay, that understood what right and wrong was. And I'm a product of being hard-headed and wanting to do my thing to get some money. But I could always go back to that intellectual standard that was put in my mind. Owning business, businessship, having agency over your ideas and having agency over things you want to understand and things you want to promote. Understanding science is a human endeavor, not just white man science. You know, I got into the misinformation that was promoted by the cults of the day, like the Malachi Yorks and the Noble Drew Lees and all that. I make no bones about that. Everybody know it. And then as y'all watch me do my thing, y'all see me transform to this position I hold now, where there's some flexibility. You say, well, maybe you're not flexible. I actually am. Meaning there's going to be times where you scrutinize something that you have said, and you will just have to change it based off of the available data. We do not speak in absolutes these days. So I'm asking y'all to do the same. Don't speak in absolutes and don't listen in absolutes. Based off of how you understand what I'm saying, I'm either a hater, right? Or I'm simply wanting to make sure that we all transform from bad ideas that cannot be supported by the rigor of academia and science. And if you're sitting there right now listening and think that African Americans or Black Americans or whatever you choose do not participate in the rigors, then you definitely didn't hear what the great John Henry Clark said. So we're here for the origin of the FBA. Hidden colors. Misinformation turned to disinformation. I'm on the daggone case. You're gonna mistakenly misunderstand what I'm saying and not understand the things that I'm actually saying. You're gonna misconstrue it. You're gonna say that I'm against African Americans. You're gonna say that I'm against the FBA. I'm against the ADOS. That's what you're gonna say. Instead of saying is, this brother is offering a solid critique based off of available data that's right in front of our face, right at our fingertips. We can actually find out what's going on. I don't have to argue and get upset about 2 or 3 people that are rap artists making unfactual statements or half truths about hip hop. We go to the written record. The written record is clear that hip hop is African American culture. I know how to play the game from the top. We need to learn that. There's a certain decorum you have. There's a certain way. Give you an example that the Jewish community, they don't trip off of the different sectors of Hebrew Israelites, Black or Chinese. They don't actually trip off of that. As long as you don't make the mistake and say that they're not that. So I understand when we push him back and say, wait a minute, this is the history. You're supposed to do that. Tell the history right. We don't got to cheat. We don't got to cheat in that, and we don't got to cheat in the Nile Valley conversation. We don't. We have the rigor of science and academia that supports us, and 1 or 2 people making statements does not qualify anything because they would have to put it in writing and it would have to be scrutinized by the experts. That's why we pay close attention to the experts. And you can be white and be an expert and make it up. But guess what? When it gets scrutinized, whether it take 5 years, 1 year, 2 minutes, or 10 years, right? Proper scrutiny, the cream is always going to rise to the top. This is why we stay in the rigor of science. This is why I'm a science advocator, because I advocate for African Americans knowing their story like a lot of other people do, because I understand the harmful effects of the transcontinental kidnapping trade. I understand the harmful effects of getting your stories erased out of the echoes of history. I understand that. So much so that I had to find a way to make sure we can all get back together. That we should be able to take a look in the past and get that information, because just maybe there's no qualifier thing right here, speculative, that if you know your history, you'll be a better person. I don't know that to be the truth. What I do know is you could be proud and understanding the truth about your people, whether it's negative or positive. You take the negative, you can go from that, right? You take the positive, you can go from that. But not knowing the truth is the travesty here, because we all claim to come in the name of pushing policy, or at least helping African Americans or Black Americans, whatever you think you're, Indian, whatever you think you are, right? We all come in the vein of we are liberating and educating our people. Some say it's the information that will liberate you. Some say knowing you indigenous to America will liberate you. They all say all types of things. But how do we know that what they're saying can be qualified? I'm telling you, it's all over the place. So FBA smart falls in the same thing. So my initial critique of the FBA is this. It's very simple. It's an idea that is fostered from another idea called the ADOS. And out of the ADOS formed a fraction. That's what humans do, right? Fraction off, splinter off, we just do that. So out of the ADOS, you get Tariq, and he forms his own thing because there's doctrinal differences. There's political stances. Things are just different, and they fight amongst each other, and he makes his own thing. This is on the record. It is very, very clear. It is clear that the FBA is not an organization, not because I said it, because the person who formed the idea says it. I'm just simply marking burden what he says. It's not an organization. Then what is it? I see it to be a business model. As a businessman myself, it's okay to have a business model. But your business model should not go against the very thing you claim to stand for. Who are you to judge a person? And I hate speaking in third person because you see quacks do it all the time. So who am I to critique that? I'm the God killer. Fight against pseudoisms. That's my job. That's what I do. Not unless you think a God going to come down and critique it. So there's a certain standard here. There's a precedence here. The precedence is we're all saying that we have information that's going to correct the wild things the Europeans said. Is that not what we all say? That this is what it is. We got it. Bet. So it's a business model. It's a good business model. And I support Black business. I support the putting together of a museum. Everybody know I love museums. That's the favorite place for me to go. Everybody knows this. I support documentaries talking about African Americans and Africans. I support documentaries. I support Black movie makers. So in that vein, I actually support Tariq in making these documentaries. Big up for that. I support him making a museum based around supposedly African culture and African history. Why wouldn't I support that? What is it that I don't support? I don't support a business model that goes against the very thing that you're claiming to liberate. I don't support documents or documentary, right, that are claiming to better the mental health of African Americans, but yet fill them with wild information, which is counterproductive to what the business models are supposed to do. He's well within his right to create a documentary and put anything in it he wants. But what he can't do is give us bad information in the face of real good, solid information in 2025. That's what you can't do. And that's when I dive into the fray. So if you think I'm a hater, I'm going to say this again. I'm not a hater. I'm a participator. They all in the bushes, watching, hiding. What is I'm going to say? What is he going to say? They all act like they don't hear. They all hear. It's clear. So let me participate. The question is, foundational Black American movement, right? And ADOS. All right. The breakup, I don't even want to say breakup. That split is really attributed to ideological differences, y'all. Leadership disputes, you know what I'm saying? Boy, I can't even say it. Man, disagreements between movement leaders. We know within his own right, Tariq is a leader. We know Yvette and them, you know what I'm saying? They leaders. All right. So there was some leadership differences there. I'm not even saying that Tariq was a leader in the ADOS. What I'm saying is, he's such a strong, powerful influence that wherever he go, right? Wherever he go, remember he did one of them things, man, that we've been trying to do for years. We didn't try, we put African American, those little known understood things about African American history and all that. Remember, we opened up the vein. That called the conscious community on YouTube, right? Remember, we was at the forefront of that, of doing that, speaking like we speak. Whether we was right or wrong, that's another question, because I was wrong about a lot of stuff back in them days, right? But we was wanting everybody to get it, and that information on YouTube went around the world. So Tariq, he come behind all that. He take the very people that was promoting that, like the elders, because we was wanting to put the elders out there. Y'all know all the names on the hidden colors. Man, too many numeral. Some of them pseudos, some of them half pseudos, some of them we love or whatever. But they was putting it in a format that could go around the world. And Tariq did the thing that we supposed to do as African Americans, man. He put that together and he put it in video form, documentary. We do not hate that. We just hate the wild information that he put in it. You can't go through the first 5 minutes of that and say that that's real accurate information for us, because it is not. So there was leadership differences, right? And he broke away. So we know that the ADOS is Yvette, okay? All right, and Mr. Moore. So it was clashes. And y'all can get into the in-betweens on that, but I can understand where clashes can take place. All right? Strategic focus. So what does the ADOS do? All right. They lean heavily into legislative reform. They targeted reparations for Black Americans. All right. They also want to address lobbying and engaging with UX political systems. How about the FBA? They incorporate broader cultural elements, right? So this is in his business model, right? It's the cultural elements. This is where I dive into it. Boy, you mess up the culture. All right, what? Promoting what? A sense of pride and identity. His documentaries promote pride and identity distinct from other Black diasporial groups. All right, and alongside advocating reparations too. All right. So this right here, those two doctrine type of things and strategies, you know what I'm saying? That's what drew that wedge right there. So there's some accusation of co-opting by Tariq. All right. So yes, Tariq is actually criticized by the ADOS. Okay. It's criticized, man. That he kind of, his political interests, outside forces, you know what I'm saying, struggling, suggesting that his policies, focused approach leaves vulnerability and manipulation. They claim he co-opted the movement, man. All right. So did that happen? I'll say this again. On the part of ADOS, the leaders, right, have questioned the organizational structure and goals of FBA. Okay? Implying a lack of infrastructure and push for legislative changes. I want to get that right and clear. On the other hand, Tariq, right, he criticized the ADOS for being susceptible to co-opting by outside forces and political interests. We know, like, the white man gonna co-opt you. If you take the white man money, y'all know what that is. All right? Kind of misspoke. I want to just get this clear. Okay? Man, you know, Tariq is saying that they focused approach, you know, leaves vulnerability and they can be manipulated. So therein lies the problem right there. Now, there's a tone in the approach of both sides, right? So Tariq and them, they employ more grassroots, direct, radical style, okay? Often focusing on the cultural and historical identity of Black Americans. Sometimes using polarizing rhetoric. I know what it's like, right? I remember the days of me and Sarah Stupicetti. I remember how that rhetoric was powerful and what we were saying. I recognize that. Some of us are still doing that today. I stay away from that. Now, the ADOS positions itself as a more formal political movement, attempting to work within the system to achieve tangible policies and outcomes. All we got to do is look back in the history and we'll see what approach was more beneficial. Right? That ain't a hard one to figure out. Okay? We know that there's a difference between what the Black Panthers was doing and what the civil rights movement was doing. I all say they was fighting for their people, but which strategies won out? We know it was the quote unquote Martin Luther King and that whole civil rights movement, which puts us in a position today to have these types of conversations without getting your door kicked in, presumably. Say the wrong thing, you get your door kicked in anyway. But the point I'm making here is that that strategy actually won out. Okay? Because it was fought at the highest levels. The highest level in America is the court system. Right? You make them see, right, that they talking about the twig in your eye, but there's a log in their eyes. That's what the court system make them see how wild they is. You claiming freedom for all Americans, but yet, you know, we can't even use the bathroom. So there's a community division. All right. Now, both of those groups emphasize the unique experience of Black Americans descending from enslaved people. But they have accused each other of creating unnecessary divisions within the broader African American community. So there's a lot of division that is caused in this conversation. So the split actually illustrates the challenges of maintaining unity in movements. They share similar goals, y'all, but different in methodology, rhetoric, and leadership dynamics, man. There you have it. So for me, the real question is, which group leans towards pseudoscientific information? I understand that misinformation, bro, can quickly change to disinformation. Dr. Miyata actually had the expert on that really talked about that. Go check her show out. Type in misinformation, Dr. Oyama, disinformation. Disinformation, Dr. Oyama. She had the professor that actually wrote some high-level papers on that said subject matter. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at the narratives that are being promoted by the FBA and the ADOS. Y'all see the title of the show. So we got to start where? In the proto-beginnings of the FBA. And the proto-beginnings of the FBA is what? Hidden colors, y'all. So as you critique the rhetoric that's in the hidden colors, you'll see how that spawned a foundation for the FBA. As you see the onset of the ADOS, right? And how Tariq, you know, put himself in that, was part of that, and how that split out, right? Then you start to get the answers, man. Don't just start at FBA. Take it back a little bit, right? Don't start with me on YouTube. Take it back a little bit so you can see how I think. So we know Tariq wrote books on said subjects and pimping and all that. Is that a negative thing? Or it's based off how you see it? It's based off your approach. So I'm not the one to talk crazy about somebody's past because I got a crazy past. But my thing is, am I still using my past to manipulate the ideas of other people. Am I doing that? Right? Am I still hustling? You know what I'm saying? Am I still selling illegal drugs in the community? Am I still doing that? Has my behavior changed? That's the question you should ask yourself when looking at any of us. So FBA and misinformation. It has a cultural and historical emphasis, man. And it's led by Tariq. He says it's not an organization. So if it's not an organization, then I'm gonna have to say it's a business. It's the business of raising money to promote his films, to build his museums. And I love museums, right? And specifically museums owned by African Americans or funded by African Americans or promoting African American history. But the Tariq Museum is actually a pseudo museum because the information in it is wild. That's the only issue I have about that. I like the structure. I like the fact that it has entertainment coming there because you spoke. You know, when you go to cultural events, right, parties and stuff, a lot of times they're in museums. So he's right and exact for doing that. What are we talking about? It's space owned by the African Americans. Supposed to take advantage of space. The space is just not based around. The space is based around African Americans, right? But the actual space can be used for African Americans and anybody who want to enjoy themselves. That is in the game. That's how they use museums. They use museums like that. They use art galleries like that. That's what it is. Nothing wrong with that. The problem is when you look at them daggone displays and the information be wild and inaccurate, and you just look it up and say, well, why would he say that? That's the issue. That's why I'm in it. So FBA often emphasizes cultural identity, lineage, and empowerment narratives. So the critique has pointed out that Nasheed occasionally promotes theories or interpretations of the history that lack academic rigor. Example, discussions around global Black history may sometimes include controversial or debunked claims. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Nasheed's production, like the Hidden Colors series, mix valid historical insight with speculative and or unsubstantiated claims, with scholars critique as pseudo history. That's what I'm saying. There is some information that's accurate in there. There's a lot of information that is pseudo historical, y'all. It's false. It's not real. Why would he do that? I would say he does that because that's a better business model than what we have promoting accurate information. Because the accurate information just don't make you feel good sometimes. You don't want to admit that you actually got bamboozled, fought wars that you lost, which caused you to be in slavery. You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that if we may have band together in Africa, which was small possibilities because they were different groups and different kingdoms, right? Those kingdoms could have communicated at times, but sometimes they did. There's clear examples of that. And sometimes they didn't. But you don't want to look defeat in the face and say, that's where we lost at. We won't make that mistake again. But the only way you can say that is to learn the real accurate history, right? If you don't want to repeat something, you got to admit what you did wrong. If I don't want to repeat my behaviors in the past, I would have to admit that the behavior I had in the past was not proper for moving forward as an African American. And once I admit that, see, that's the key. Any problem you have to admit the truth. So you admit the truth around slavery. You look at the harshness of slavery. You look at the mistakes you made in Africa. You look at that, you critique it, and then you come with a package, right? Never to return to that. So as you look at the Jewish community, they have done that. So his rhetorical style, FBA, confrontational and polarizing rhetoric, can amplify unverified claims. Man. How about ADOS? Got some misinformation too. Okay. Policy advocacy. ADOS primarily focuses on reparations and economic justice, grounding much of its arguments in verifiable historical and economic data. But however, all right, The critique has caused some ADOS followers to oversimplify or distort demographic and immigration-related statistics to promote their agenda. See, that's what you can't do. You can't oversimplify stuff. I know a lot of people do it, but when you really, really want to get it right, yo, just tell it like it is. Right? Tell it like it is. So there's also a tendency in certain circles of the ADOS movement to marginalize or dismiss the contributions of Black immigrants to U.S. society, which can be framed using incomplete data or misleading narratives. Yep. Engagement in political spaces, right? So the ADOS leaders have faced criticism and fostering divisiveness within the Black political activism by spreading claims that foreign-born Black politicians or activists that some perceive as conspiratorial. So these things we do aren't perfect, and I'm gonna leave an example of it. The question is, who leans towards more misinformation? Where do I gotta activate the force that's running? Pseudo killers, community of skeptics, real Black atheism. All these are ideas directed at correcting misinformation, whether you like it or not. Big up the brother Garfield. He's been on that trail of correcting that misinformation of the thing that has dumbfounded us the most, and that's Christianity. He gives you an accurate depiction of what Christianity is, what it is not. So while the ADOS generally aligns its rhetoric to policy-oriented, fact-based advocacy, accusations of misinformation arise from oversimplification or diversive rhetoric. Simple as that. How about the FBA? Due to the broader cultural focus and reliance on speculative historical interpretations in some contexts, it is more frequently associated with pseudo-historical or pseudo-scientific narratives. I should be able to say that without being a hater. So I'm concluding with this, y'all. The FBA is more characterized for leaning into misinformation or pseudo-historical ideas, particularly in this media productions. Y'all know what it is, we talked about it. ADOS, while not immune to similar critique, tends to focus on verifiable data, making its narrative less prone to outright pseudo-information. Though it's still susceptible to biases and interpretations, however, both movements could benefit from maintaining rigorous standards of evidence and fostering a more academic collaboration to avoid pitfalls of misinformation. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is what we're talking about here. This is what we promote in the pseudo killers, in the community of skeptics. Man, we promote standards close to the rigors of science and academic standards as possible, right? If you only can accept information from Black scholars and Black scientists, then they're there for you to use. I think that could be a trap because your color of your skin doesn't stop you from making mistakes. It just doesn't. So let me drop the link, right? This is the first part of what we talked about. Let me drop the link to see who want to get into it. All right. If you think I'm wrong, man, make your points there. I have some points. Let's talk about it, man. Let's just get into it, man. Because that misinformation is wild, man. So I've dropped that link. We got some rules here. We're not going to come up here and overtalk each other. I'm not going to overtalk you. If you have extended conversation on something, you have to bring a source, or at least no other source we can look it up in real time. We're not going to cuss each other out. We're not doing none of that. We all have the ability to be wrong, and we all have the ability to be right. I got the first person that popped up. Keon. What's going on, brother Keon? What's on your mind? Talk to us, man. Welcome to the community of skeptics. What's good, brother?
What's good, brother? What's good? What's good? What's good? First time up here, y'all. My name is Keon. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Unc, you hit it right on the head, man. I'm gonna go ahead and just let you know I ain't got no discrepancy with pretty much anything that you said. It did kind of fall from that ADOS movement that was happening, I believe, back in like the 2015, 16, somewhere in that area. And it just kind of went from there. Tariq, they don't like to, and you said this. They don't like to call it an organization. But I mean, what else would you be able to call it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what else are you going to call this thing? The shared ideology that you guys have. That's an organization. Like, rather you want to call it or not.
Unorganized, but go ahead.
Yeah, an unorganized organization. Like but and I do want to get to the people because I was in the chat, right? To the people that want to say that Unc is a hater, that Unc is just up here just going against Tariq, he's not on code, yada yada yada. Uh, you can be foundationally anything, but if you got cracks in your foundation, then it's going to come down, and this is just a fact. It is eventually going to come down. If it's based off of some type of hatred, or if it's based off of some I'm better than you, or trying to make you feel better for being who you are, then you probably need to run as fast as you can away from that because all they're trying to do is make you feel good enough so you'll take your wallet out and give them some type of money. So again, it was right on the money. I ain't got nothing to go against with you on this one.
No, I appreciate you, man. And so normally I don't show other people's comments not unless they part of the channel, but I'm gonna do this. He says, I don't deal with sources, I am the source. I don't go by another man. Right. There you go. There you go.
Oh, he said I am the source.
That's the point. Everybody think themselves to be the source. That's how we learned it, right? Phil Valentine, the feel good Valentine. That's how we actually thought.
Man.
That's how we was end up being so wrong. Man. Crazy. You got anything else to say?
No, man, it gets silly, man. Because again, you should feel good about being whoever you are, right? If tomorrow we get some type of information that proves without a shadow of a doubt the Egyptians was black. The Hebrews was black. Hell, the Indians and Chinese was black before they became that. You still gonna be your same person. You still gonna be Ankh the God Killer in Baltimore or Atlanta. You still gonna be Keon White in Indiana. You still gonna be poor. You still gonna be hungry. And you still gonna need to go get you some money so you can survive. So it doesn't. To me, I don't know why we try to make it matter. That stuff doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Right. If I'm saying if some kind of way they figure out the social construct was in 10,000 BCE and they found a tablet to say the Egyptians is jet black and okay, what you want me to do?
Exactly.
I ain't tripping off that because I've had to change my mind and change my course on a lot of things. I am not the same person that you first heard 20 years ago or 15 years ago. I am just not. Now, whether you think that growth has been substantial and positive or negative, or you think I'm the police, whatever you can call me all kinds of stuff, whatever you think that is, right? What is the standard you're using? That's the point. What standard are you using to say what you're saying? Nubian Hamid, what's good with you? Welcome to the community skeptics, pseudo killers on deck. What's good, man? What say you?
Hey, we what's up with y'all? We always knew that it was a offshoot of the ADOS, like because it didn't come about until the ADOS has started to get a lot of traction, right? So if Tariq and them was actually saying something different than ADOS, it wasn't his original thought in the first place. He co-opted that from the ADOS movement. So that's clear because we would have been heard you talking about FBA. Something gave you the idea, right? ADOS is the American descendants of slavery. And the FBA is foundational Black Americans, right? So it's the same thing. You're talking about the same group of people. You acknowledge it. It's the same thing. You dig what I'm saying? So,
right.
So if you agree with ADOS in principle, right, then it shouldn't be a stretch to agree with FBA. Now, do you have to agree with everything that they say? You dig what I'm saying? No, you don't. You know what I mean? But you have to acknowledge that they're talking about African Americans, right? You have to acknowledge that the American descendants of slaves and foundational Black Americans, you're talking about African American people who were previously called African American. So that's why I say I'm FBA. Now, do I agree about the Indian stuff and all of that? No, you're tripping. But am I a foundational Black American, which was previously an ADOS, which was previously called African American? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, man, I'm the same as that. And that's it.
So that's why I don't call myself a Nuwapian. Because you can't push away the bad ideas like that. Right?
Now, what is
like,
the new? Hold on. What is the Nuwapian?
A follower of Malachi York and all the information.
No,
so there was a lot of things I didn't agree with, like the aliens and all that. Like I never agree with that stuff. But that's why today I know you can't even devoid yourself, and that's why I wouldn't use it. So I would never say I'm an FBA because I don't think that there were quote unquote Black people, indigenous Black people in America. I don't believe that. So I don't even want to be associated with the misinformation. Not at all. So I'll just be a proud African American. I use the term Black American for political reasons, and I'm there because if you say foundational Black Americans, they're gonna end up the definition is gonna be African Americans, right? Ain't no getting away from that. You can put it in a chat TV any way you want. It's the same thing, but what is the difference? The difference is they think they some kind of Indians that globalize the world, which is wrong. So I'm not saying it. I'm not gonna do that. Nope.
But all of them don't believe that though.
And all Nuwapians don't believe the same.
Right.
So I'm not
hold on. And all African Americans, all people that agree that they're African American don't have the same agreement. But all people that say that they Black American. So there's disagreement. But you'll agree with the African American, and then there's gonna be some African American. Hold on. There's gonna be some African Americans gonna be saying, bro, you're not African. You
no.
They say it all the time.
I know, but we're not African though.
We're African Americans.
We're not wrong in that. Because we're not. Our culture is formed. Hold on. Our culture is formed in America. African American ain't based off some kind of spiritual doctrine either, yo. African American is simply based off of people being captured in Africa and brought to America. That's it. Just that you identify that your place of origin is from Africa. That's it, bro. There's no whole lot of it. We was a native to this and making up all kind of bro. Well, I don't like. That's not what an African American is, bro. It's simply letting the people know who might not be familiar with you that your ancestry first came by way of the slave trade, yo. That's it, bro. Nothing else. And yes, African Americans are Muslim, Christian, Jews, Black, Hebrew, Israelite. We even think we Native Americans. We even think we FBA. We do all that as African Americans. That's not the conversation here. The conversation is there's a strict adherence to what FBA is. Simple as that. And they have variation in their beliefs because that's what humans do anyway. We variate. But as soon as you say you're FBA, bro, there's some things that's riding hard on you. That's all.
How old are you?
You have the right to say that. You cool?
How old are you?
I'm 57.
You 57.
Absolutely.
So when you went to school or probably was around before we wholeheartedly accepted African American.
That's in the 70s though.
Right. So you know Black people, right?
Afro. It was Afro American.
Afro American, right?
Afro,
but that wasn't widely accepted. It was Black American that was accepted.
Yeah,
you know,
Black and still
exactly. So when the name changed, everybody didn't agree to the African American part.
Yeah, but then we did agree.
It was a lot of soldiers and Black and African American veterans who said that it was taking them away from being considered wholeheartedly American. We can go get documents where that was one of their arguments. So everybody didn't readily agree to the African American joint.
That's not a conversation we go.
I know. So because there were certain ideological differences that they had with being called African American at a whole stop. So you can have certain ideological differences where you don't want to say, I can agree with the FBA, but at the end of the day, if more people get involved, there will be a part of FBA that you can grow to accept. The same way that everybody had to grow to accept the African American part.
And that's I think you're wrong.
Okay.
The African American thing was a conversation amongst the population of Africans in America. It was a United States conversation. The FBA is not a United States conversation.
Yeah,
Matter of
African
fact,
Americans.
that joke, like, I don't know who the hell he was. Most people don't know who the FBA is, yo. Like, let's stop playing. Most people ain't watch Hidden Colors, yo. Let's just stop playing. No, it's not that. I'm not going to put that on the same level as the serious conversation, you know what I'm saying, of being African Americans and Black Americans. That's a different level right there. I'm not going to mix the two. I'm not allowed to do that. I can't do it, bro.
Hey, can I ask you a question? What up, Chef? Long time no hear, big dog.
You wasn't actually next. I think
Baby, yo.
I think brother Dula. Am I saying that right, brother?
Brother Dulani.
How you doing, Delani? What's up, brother? What's
My respect to Chevron, Sabio, my man Cedric.
You call him Chevron?
White Wolf
at the gas station?
No, Cedric. Oh no,
Chevron.
He talking about
my
me.
bad.
You know he called you Chevron gas station, man. I mean,
my bad. Yeah. You know, me and you know, we go way back. We have our differences, but I agree with you on this one. I think you really framed the argument very correctly. I think politically and biologically, we can't get around the fact that the only thing I didn't necessarily agree with you. You said we're not African. You cannot be African American without being African. I don't get that part. But you did say we are Africans in America, but at the same time we're not African. But we can that's semantic. We can debate that part. But I kind of like I don't agree with you on that because I also take my instruction from many of the great African American scholars like Dr. Greg Carr and many others in the Pan-African movement and in the university Pan-African study departments and the teaching department amongst African Americans across the country. They acknowledge squarely that we're African and we have retained many of our African retention brought into the Americas with us. So we can't disconnect ourselves from that. But we have developed this American part, which we can't ignore. Because to be African American would have to have that American experience with our African experience. So I totally agree with you on that part. That the African American.
So the reason I say it, I said genetically speaking, our biology clearly shows that we have deep ties to the continent of Africa. There's no denying that. Culturally speaking, right? We have no understanding of that based off of the slave trade that wiped that out. Illegal to learn how to read and write. Illegal to practice your custom and traditions and your language. See, you learn your culture through your custom and tradition and your language. Like African American is one of the dialects that is super complex in America. That's how we learn our culture. That's why when we say, yo, what's up, nigga? Get my money. We know what that means. Hey, what's up, man? You my nigga, yo. We know what it means. Based off of the emphasis, right, on the word we're using. We understand cultural differences within African American culture, right? If you're in New York, that word can mean something different. We know what cat means. All that is a complex understanding of African American culture. We don't have that complex understanding of African culture. We try. You know what I'm saying? We was not formed out of that. Let me finish. We was not formed out of that ecology. The circumstances, the pressures that caused those early hunter-gatherer societies to form their culture, yo, would not be African American culture. We got different plants, we got different herbs, we got different traditions, right? We got different foods, right? Now, there's a hodgepodge of different elements that we just brought with us, and there's no denying that. That's why we're African Americans. We are unique, just like the Ghanaian culture is unique to Africa. It's not Ethiopian culture, and it should not be. It's not Western African culture, and it should not be. You don't do that to Europeans. You don't talk about the Franks like that, the Visigoths like that. You don't talk about the people that lived in the forest of Britannica. You don't talk about the Roman Empire, the French, the Rus. You give them their own agency. So African Americans deserve our own agency in defining who and what we are, right? And Africans on the continent should not get mad. As a matter of fact, when you form the Pan-African, some of the first people at the Pan-African Conference were highly literal African Americans. What do you want me to do?
Exactly,
I don't
Ron.
deny that. I don't deny that. I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I agree with that analysis. That is a sociological, actually a scientific view of how we develop as a people. That is correct, and I want to agree with you on that, and to say further that the FBA and the ADOS movement are divisive movement. They emphasize our division. They emphasize it emphasize and they just there's another element of it, a very ugly element of it.
How?
And
Where's the division?
Let me explain. There's an
just told
ugly
you we
element of
uniquely
it.
different. So how is
Hold
that
on,
being
brother.
divisive?
Let me learn.
No.
Let me learn.
Go ahead. We're gonna cut each other off. I got you next. Sabio is next, and then we're gonna come. Then we'll come to
Let me explain.
the family. Go ahead, explain.
You know they got a generational cutoff point. Because if you're born one generation, two generation, they have this division. You have to literally go back to enslavement. I don't even know where they cut off point is for you to be African American. It is the craziest thing in the world. That if your grandparents came from somewhere else and you're born in America, you don't qualify to be an FBA.
So let me say this.
Let me say this. Ridiculous. I don't understand that.
But listen, we live in a world where there has to be a cutoff point. If you don't have a
where is the cutoff point?
So
1865.
I want you to know. Let me say this. I would like to say that the thing that you kind of saying is wild. It's the thing that Africans on the continent have been doing from day one. They have cutoff points. Genetically, they don't know. Let me finish, bro. Genetically, they don't know that we all basically the same. They don't know that. I'm a Ghanaian, and they say it proudly. I have certain kingship, they say proudly. I'm from Angola. They say it proud. The Angola never trying to be the Ghanaian. So nobody should try to make the African American be this neither. There's going to be cutoff points. Let me finish. There's going to be cutoff points and divisions. That's why we understand anthropology, because we don't have to disrespect. It's not disrespect to celebrate your differences. African Americans are routinely spit at and talk shit about because we're celebrating our differences. Hell, that's what Africans do. Hell, that's what the Egyptians did. The Egyptians couldn't stand them damn Nubians. The Egyptians let me finish. Couldn't stand them damn Afro-Asiatics. They couldn't stand them damn Libyans. How we know? Because it's in their literature. But that doesn't mean on the ground. Watch this. Doesn't mean on the ground that those relationships was like that in their politics, bro. So while they was fighting wars, right? Propaganda wars and physical wars, that's the relationship they had on the ground. No issues with each other. And I'm saying that's what humans do. So I'm an African American. I'm going to draw that line. I'm going to draw that strict hard line. But I also recognize the struggles of Africans in the diaspora around the world. But let me have my agency as an African American. Let me have that. Let me say this. I would like to say that when you go to Africa now, and some of those affluent places, you'll see the youth rocking hip hop in their own language hip hop. They practicing African American culture. I can say that and be proud of that. What's wrong with that? It's the truth. But I can also say that the point you're making, it's also important, right, to have allies. Europeans do it all the time. We supposed to have the allies and not deny our allies. But them allies, it has to be in a relationship where it's at least equal to what you can do. I'm going to say this again. I put emphasis on what you can do. If you ain't got no daggone money, then you don't got no money, but it's something else you can do. Are the Africans on the continent doing the same thing, or is it all African American thing? No, they promote their culture, bro. We don't got to play that game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't hate me, hate the game when I promote my culture, and it doesn't mean I'm being divisive. That's simply saying I'm making a distinct line of who I am, just like you do. I go to Ethiopian restaurants. It's Ethiopian. Nobody's crying about it. I enjoy the food. I love their culture. I love learning, right? But then they should be able to do the same thing, and some of them do. So come on, man. This thing of we being divisive. That's not.
No, hold on, no. I'm not saying you. Listen to me carefully.
I'm just.
1 second, please. Let me just have this dialogue with for about 2 minutes. Oh, what
Well,
I'm saying to you is that,
we gotta move on. I see people talking about
yeah,
I'm anti-Pan-African. Let me say this though.
no,
I'm actually not anti-Pan-Africanist. I have the same issues with the Pan-African movement that I had with Tariq and them. They was anti-vaxxers. All the while promoting to love black people. All the while
oh,
claiming to love African people around the world. How you gonna love somebody when it's clear that African scientists, the sister, you know what I'm saying, was the one that actually put that mRNA vaccine together? You know what I'm saying? That it was her joint that came through, right? That promotes the health and the healthy community. Without your health, you don't got nothing. So that's my issue, that they promote anti-scientific rhetoric in the face of claiming they care about us. If you don't care about our damn health, then you don't care about us. That's all you got is your damn health. Once your health fail, your ass is grass. So no, I don't have an issue with being a Pan-African. I have an issue with a wild anti-scientific, anti-academic rhetoric. I don't have a problem with FBA. I got a problem with the wild hidden colors, wild museum coming up, making up anything. That's what I got the problem at. Please, let's not mix the two thoughts. Let me move on to the next caller real quick.
but Uncle, I haven't even had a chance. I didn't have a chance to address you, man.
I know.
We're
Go
supposed to
back
have a
to it. Me and you
dialogue.
can talk all day. We're not having that super done. Now I need some sources because now we extended. Got some sources?
No. I haven't. I was open.
Sabio, come on.
Oh,
Sabio, what's up? I'll come back to you. I got you. Hold
how
up.
we gonna have a dialogue like this, man?
I'm writing it down.
Oh man, this is
What
wild.
point you want to finish? Look, I'm writing it. What's your point you want to finish?
I was just trying to make a thought, my brother. I can't get it out. I mean, but
You
if
know
you
what I'm
want to
gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do?
if you're the
I'm gonna give you
host,
15 seconds. Go ahead. Hold on. Stop. Breathe.
no, I mean, if you're the host and this is the way you want to run it, I understand because
No, stop. Freeze.
I didn't want to get in this type of dialogue where I can't even express myself. I didn't know this was that type of show. If you're going to give me a chance to interact with you,
Nah, I
share
told you.
ideas with you,
I told you what kind of
and
show
if
it
you
was. You ain't hear me?
what kind of let me know so I
Now,
know
let me
where I
tell you
fit
what
in.
kind of show this is. This is the kind of show.
Yeah,
You want
yeah.
to end the dialogue at a certain point. I need a damn source. Well, I'm not listening to you.
Listen,
If you don't have a source on what you're talking about now, because we are in an extended time period now, then what are we doing?
no,
That's my
the
point.
extended time period of you were doing all the talking.
Because
I
it's my
simple
damn
was
show, and I'm supposed to do all the talking. Ain't that how they normally do it?
exactly,
Because I got
but you
haters.
haven't
You
heard.
see the difference? See,
But oh gosh,
I can't
man,
do it. I can't do
well,
it.
how can we have a dialogue like that, man? I'm just trying
I'm
to
not
share
trying to
ideas
have,
with you.
this is not democratic.
Oh my goodness, man!
I
I thought we
never
were
said
having a scholarly.
I never
I,
said that.
I'm trying. I'm trying to have
No,
a scholarly,
no, no, we're not
intellectual
trying to have a
conversation with
scholarly
you.
nothing without a scholarly source, yo. How you gonna have a
We can
scholarly?
have so much about it. You talk for my own. Every word I said, you actually cut me off and went into your tirade and
I'm a
went into
cut
your
off
long thing.
artist. I'm a tirade artist. I'm all the
But
above.
at least, but you're supposed to give the person a chance to get his
I
thought out
did
after
give you
you're supposed
a
to come
chance.
back. You're
I
supposed
said
to
I'm gonna
come
come
back and
back
say,
to
okay,
you.
brother. You're
I'm
supposed
gonna
to come
come
back and say, brother, finish your thought now, brother. You didn't even give me,
Okay.
that courtesy. You
Hold
didn't
on,
even give me that courtesy,
Okay,
man. But anyway, brother, it's
You're
your
right.
show.
Go ahead, finish it.
Do your
Go
thing.
watch this.
Do your,
Go ahead.
do
Go
your
ahead,
thing.
brother.
Do your,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go. Go.
I
I'm
refuse
quiet.
to subject myself to this kind of
No, go
pressure, man.
ahead.
All right.
Man, go ahead, brother.
Okay. All I'm saying, brother, I
All
agree
right,
with
time's
your.
up. Time's up. No, I'm playing with you,
All
yo. Go
right.
ahead. Go on, play.
Man, listen, man. I can't do this, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm trying
Nah,
to
man,
have a
you
decent
can't have
conversation.
fun, yo. We having fun. Go ahead, brother.
I'm try, I would like to have fun with you, but just let me get my thoughts out at least. You know what I'm saying?
Not for an
I'm
hour. Go
saying
ahead.
to you, but I'm saying to you, brothers, that when we are now in the space age as African people, and we are trying to interact with each other, the divisive rhetoric that comes out of certain quarters is unnecessary. And I like what you said about the allyship, the sharing of culture. You know, we're building a global family. We're sharing ideas because we don't know it all. We're trying to connect economically. We're trying to connect politically. We're trying to have allyship. We need to celebrate some of the commonalities that we have and also our uniqueness as people. We're all contributing to the global African family. And when the family does well in Africa or the Caribbean or in America, we all are proud of that achievement. When an African American or an African going to space, we all can feel proud about that. When we do well in sports and in any field, we all can feel proud about that. But one of the emphasis I wanted to say is that if you notice how the FBA get down on the social media advocacy, they tend to focus on denigrating foreign Africans that are not from America. I don't know if you watch their Twitter feeds, you watch their social media feed. They go and find clips and find things that try to denigrate other people, and I think that is so unnecessary and it's insidious, and it's like it's cancerous to our global African family that we're trying to build. And that's all I wanted to say. And I wanted to compliment you on your maturity in your analysis because it tends to be lacking sometimes and when we're trying to build something that we all can be proud of, we all can celebrate as African people. Yeah, I just want to thank you for giving me a few minutes to get that thought out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, brother. That was 2 minutes of fun. You did your thing. I ain't mad at you. Appreciate you, yo. Appreciate that. All right, Sabio, what's going on, man? Sabio, you run out of time. Calling Sabio 5. Calling Sabio. Cedric, what's up?
Peace, family. What it do? I'm just riding shotgun. You know, I'm here to get the misinformation or those pseudoisms out of the way. Just grab them. Yeah, I'm just here. But again, the conversation. I mean, being in the community, I keep saying it. We all on this side of the ocean, based on the transatlantic slave trade. However, each area, each community, our experiences was different. My relationship with the European is way different than the African Americans' history with the European next door. So that whole trajectory of wanting your own ID and getting what comes to the African American specifically, I support that. What I have a problem with is the type of rhetoric that seems to be very divisive and negative from certain environments. Like all of a sudden, the immigrants are the problem. And yeah, so that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But with regards to reparations for Black Americans being part of this community, understanding the history, Jim Crow, get it and get more. That's my position.
Okay. And I appreciate your position right there, man. Hey, make sure y'all tune in. We're going to have Dr. Andy on, evolutionary psychologist, man. We're going to talk about the origin of belief, religion, how you say agnostic? You know what I'm saying? I always say it wrong. Yo, how I say it, Cedric? What is agnostic?
It's
Agnostic.
Agnostic.
It's agnostic.
Yeah,
The position, the false position of I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. All right, let me go next. Where you at for the family? What's good, brother? Talk to us.
What's the word with you, man? I wanted to ask you a question, man.
Right,
On
ahead,
a
brother.
scientific level, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think people are a creature of habits when it comes to mating?
Do I think
Who been calling me out?
What's the scientific question, though?
Like what I'm saying is this: like when you think about the Africans that come here, right? You rarely
Okay.
see us mixing down with them. Like
No,
rarely ever.
I think
So if
no.
that's our source, you wouldn't think you're trying to hit
No,
that
I
again.
don't think that. Let me answer the question. Now I
Good.
get you at. I think we mate within our ethnic groups. You get it? Like we don't mix, we don't mate within our haplogroups. Like that's not on our minds. People don't walk around with glowing haplogroups, and you know, we mate with people that are in our community, first of all, right? People that are close to us, right? And there's always been a certain amount of mixing. And that's why I want to make the point that the most important thing that we got as Homo sapiens sapiens is actually our diversity. That's the real thing. The difference is the most important thing. We don't get that in evolutionary biology, right? It's that mix of different genes and different mutations that actually help fight against, quote unquote, the war that we're really fighting. The war we're fighting is against disease and viruses. That's the real war.
Yeah.
So yes, our mating habits is based off our social structures that have been formed, okay, and close proximity. That's like murder. African Americans, right, will have high levels of murder, or will murder more, quote unquote, African Americans to say a Chinese person. But Chinese people will murder more Chinese people than say African Americans murder Chinese people, and so on and so forth. Right? That's the answer. You have another question? Because I got to keep moving.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of Africans living in our neighborhoods. We ain't killing too many Africans.
See?
I'm just trying to say that we are a different we are a different people, G. Always have been. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, we're different. No, we're different culture. We're different culture, bro. We all
see, I don't even like that word. I think genetically, spiritually, and everything, we're completely different people. G.
Different culture, yo.
I mean, you say how you want to.
Yeah. Genetically, you're more closely related
that was the
to
question,
indigenous.
though,
Look, genetically, you're more closely related to indigenous Africans. Culturally, you're more closely related to Europeans. What do you want me to say?
No, so we just ain't got no identity without the white or the African.
No, but that is our identity. So embrace your identity.
No. I don't buy that.
No, what I'm saying is, I said biologically, bro. Do you know the difference?
I'm talking about biologically. Basically, you said we wouldn't exist if it wasn't for mixed African slaves.
So why don't you take away your 60-70% African DNA? You walking around with a head.
I'm saying, is that what you're saying? You saying so we didn't exist at all until white. We basically just biracials, is what you're saying, right?
But that's what you said.
Yes, mulattoes.
I'm gonna move on.
That's basically what you're trying to say.
I didn't say that. We're gonna do a part 2 of this, and make sure you hit the link.
I got you, man. That was my question, though, man.
So I'm saying, but our culture is African American culture, was formulated by African American people who need no help from nobody.
When you were younger, you didn't call yourself an African American, did you?
I've always called myself an African American.
Yeah, I thought
you sound very young, though. Does that say, Bill? You sound young, man.
So let me,
brother right here, I'm pushing 60. He wasn't no African nothing. He was a Negro back then.
I'm 45 and I always been African American.
Yeah, I don't know what you talking about.
Hey man, you sound like you from New York. Y'all look different up there.
So let me say something real quick.
No, we not. We moving on to mulatto rights activists.
Hold on, I ain't got to say anything.
You missed your turn. I'm gonna come back to you. Come on, you didn't say nothing because I called on you 50 times.
I had stepped away.
Right, and so your turn slipped away with you as you left your turn. But I got you. Come back.
Come on,
I got you because I'm up against it. Go ahead, mulatto. Hurry up, get it in.
Peace, family, and this will be brief. I'm gonna tackle 2 points fast as possible. The first point, I do agree that genetically, the majority of so-called African Americans are actually mulattoes, and additionally, I want to address what one of the immigrants brought up before. I forget which particular one it was. I think it was Cedric Ortega. The reason, and this will be brief, the reason that immigrants are a problem in the U.S., and I'm going to say it again, immigrants are definitely a problem in the U.S., is because immigrants support more immigration to the U.S., which has an adverse effect on preserving so-called African American communities. Or in other words, as the immigration rate increases, the total number of majority African American communities is decreasing. And I'll mute up on that.
All right, brother, we come back to you. I disagree. Yeah, I'm not gonna do fear mongering around here.
You know how that makes sense.
All that nonsense. I'm not doing all that. Whatever, man. Immigrants without the United States, the American culture is based off of immigrants. We just so happen to be the enslaved people. We wasn't immigrants. See, that's the difference. See, that's the difference. But American culture is based off of, y'all ain't never heard of what's the island called in New York? Statue of Liberty. What's it called, yo?
Ellis Island.
Y'all act like y'all don't know about Ellis Island. Hey, we gonna sit there like we don't know about Ellis Island.
Bring me your weary. What's on the plaque of the?
I mean, it's
bring me your weary, your weak, your tired.
We got whistle coming on Cedric.
Yeah. Is it my turn? Can I ask a question?
You better hurry up. You gotta hurry up because I gotta get no saint in here. Still killer, no saint. Go ahead.
Oh, the question I'm asking is this: how many generations? Because I've seen it happen. Jamaicans have been immigrating to the US since 1950. That is 5 generations. Now, these children who great-grandparents were Jamaican, are they still Jamaican or are they now African American?
I think it's subjective at that point, right? If you get super technical, you would say they wasn't part of the original African Americans. It don't matter. You got to draw a line somewhere, yo. You can just keep going. We can end up back in Africa and give them money if we never draw a line, right?
Yeah, but how many generations after? Because these culturally, these children don't know nothing about Jamaica. They don't enjoy Jamaican food. They don't enjoy Jamaican music. They don't dress like Jamaican.
Yeah, that's not the point. That ain't even the point how you dressing and all that. The point is, right? Are you a descendant of slaves in America? Key word, in America, not Jamaica, not the halls of Montezuma, not the British Isle some damn way. No, it's in America. So what I got to know, yo. Hey, Stu B's, I'm not trying to pick you up, but I gotta keep it moving, bro.
That's the key point.
No Saint, what's good, bro?
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, Cedric. Yeah, I just want to say I'm listening. Hey, all right. I'm just listening. I have seen The Hidden Color, so I'm really interested in what you got to say about this subject. But as far as like, we not only should embrace immigrants here, we need immigrants here, because the problem is in a lot of the Western countries is we're losing population. So in order for this system, if you want the system to sustain itself, which I'm an American and I'm for America, then you actually need the immigrants. And second thing I wanted to say is, as far as the subject goes, is once you split, I 100% agree with once you split off, like for instance, my background is French, English, and German. I don't see myself as a Frenchman, an Englishman, a German. I see myself as an American. That we split off. We're cousins or whatever you want to call it. We share genetic similarities and everything. But if it comes to a fight, this is where the roots are now. So that's just what I got to say.
Agreed.
Totally agree. No Saint. Hey, Cedric, look, we out of here, man. You know, we ready to go live with Andy. That's gonna be a good show, man.
Yeah, I'm on that one.
Man, y'all tune in. We have Dr. Andy on, man. We're gonna have a powerful show, man. We talking about the origins of our beliefs, right? We talk about agnostic. Why don't we say that wrong, yo? Agnostic, Gnosticism, right?
Gnosticism.
Drop the G, Gnostic. Just Gnostic.
We're gonna talk about the Gnostics, right? We're talking about beliefs, man. We're gonna talk about atheism, man. It's gonna be a great show, man.
Yeah, that's fun.
I appreciate everybody coming through, man. And let me give a word from our sponsor. All right, word from our sponsor, man.
Hi, I'm J.O. Waters, and I'm the creator of the Oasis for Teachers YouTube channel. I create content for teachers who are feeling burnt out and need a refreshing and rejuvenating. On my channel, you'll find self-care tips, inspiration, and professional development. So if you're feeling burnt out as a teacher, please come and join us.
In this game of shadows, I won't hide.
Man, I appreciate everybody listening, man. Appreciate all the love and support from the chat, man. Hit the Cash App going out, man. Man, go ahead and tune into our next show coming right up after this, man. I appreciate all the love, man. Y'all know what it is.
Body banger from the block, seen it all raw tough. Streets of Baltimore where survival's always rough. Joined the Marines fighting for a life he could save. But back in the hood, he felt like a runaway slave. Started an army, not of guns but of wisdom. I'm a rock squad, truth the anthem, we ain't just a God killer. Bobby Banger on his path for the truth. Empower the people, give them wisdom as the proof. Black power rising, knowledge shines like a light. He's fighting for the future, ready to ignite. Selling drugs on the corner just to put food on plates, but deep in his heart, he knew he had greater fates. From the traps to the lab, he fights ignorance raw, teaching evolution while shaking up the law. The real black atheist is changing the game, waking up minds, never the same. God killer Bobby Banger on his path for the truth, empower the
Hey, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. We're great to start the next show. Appreciate all the support, man. Appreciate the powerful show, the origin of FBA, man. We going in. And with that, we out. Pseudo killer.